It's Friday, the 23rd of June, 2023. Welcome to the Fast Five by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 big stories to finish off the week. Let's get into story number 1. Federal Parliament has adjourned for 5.5 weeks, and the last sitting day before the midwinter break was a fairly robust day in Parliament. The voice referendum was the main topic of the day.
It's the last time many people will hear from the pollies for a while, so all sides were anxious to finish with a bit of a bang. The voice got most attention. Opposition leader Peter Dutton suggested Prime Minister Anthony Albanese should drop the referendum since, in his view, it will fail and there's no point dividing the country. There were claims that Albanese is trying to rewrite history with the voice to Parliament, while other more bizarre questions arose from the coalition, like whether the voice will have power to offer advice to the Reserve Bank on interest rates. For his part, the PM said the voice advisory body isn't a third chamber of Parliament. It won't change how laws are made. He said it could help save money because it will give Indigenous Australians a say in how money should be spent in relation to Aboriginals. Away from the voice, the opposition in the Senate moved a motion to censor Katie Gallagher over what she knew about Brittany Higgins' rape allegations. The vote failed, but it's become a real political challenge for the government. And Anthony Albanese again attacked the Greens over its blocking of Labor's signature housing policy, accusing the party of being driven by self-interest in dealing with the government's $10 billion housing fund.
And Federal Treasurer Jim Chalmers had a bit to say as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he sure did. He talked about the government ending this year in a surplus. He was very happy about that. He also hinted that Philip Lowe won't be reappointed as Governor of the Reserve Bank. He'll make that announcement next month. Lowe's term expires in September. He could still be reappointed, but it seems unlikely. Deputy Governor Michelle Bullock is in the mix, so too the head of the Department of Finance, Jenny Wilkinson. Her husband is a guy called David Gruen. He runs the Australian Bureau of Statistics. He's in the running as well. So too former Deputy Governor Guy Debelle and former Treasury Secretary Martin Parkinson.
All right, on to story number 2 now, Sean. And BHP boss Mike Henry says the same job, same pay legislation will be a productivity killer, which will cost BHP, how about this, $1.5 billion a year and create an economic drag on the nation.
Speaking at a Business Council of Australia forum this week, Henry said Australia had to address labour productivity and regulation if it had any hope of competing for investment on world stage, adding it would be crazy to try and outdo places like the US when it comes to subsidies. The BHP boss said Australia needs to be best in class when it comes to ease of doing business, but it's going in the wrong direction, and told the government to stop doing more harm. Same job, same pay legislation is a Labor election promise. It will force employers to pay Labor hire workers the same as other employees in the same roles. The proposed legislation has angered plenty of employer groups, including BHP, obviously. Plenty of debate also about defining what same job means. We're going to hear plenty about it.
We sure will. Story number 3, Ford is set to cut 400 jobs from its local workforce, mostly in product development and design.
About 1,800 people work for the company in Australia, meaning more than 1 in 5 are set to lose their jobs. Many of those are based in Geelong. The company said it has started a consultation process with unions and employees about a, quote, separation program. Quite the euphemism. Australian operations will continue to be headquarters for development of the Ranger and Everest models. Of course, the big 3 manufacturers, Holden, Ford and Toyota, no longer build cars in Australia. Most of the manufacturing nowadays is altering imported cars, but there's still tens of thousands of people employed in the industry across sales, marketing and other roles.
Okay, story number 4, Sean. Australians are still relying on cash when travelling overseas, worried that cards won't be accepted in many places.
A survey of more than 1,800 Australians by Travelex, a currency exchange company, found that 52% stocked up on cash before flying abroad. In the under 25 years age group, it was 62%, particularly when they're going to places like Bali and Thailand. Travelex said payment methods in countries are often very domestic. For example, in China, it's much harder to use MasterCard and Visa because of the popularity of China Union Pay. The most in-demand currency for Australian travellers continues to be the US dollar. No surprises there, not just for North America, for also Africa, Vietnam, those sort of places. Then comes euro, the Indonesian rupiah, Japanese yen and British pound. And also on this story, Skyscanner research shows that about 33% of Australians using their site are actively looking at places where the Aussie dollar goes further, places like India, Argentina, Turkey and Japan. Interesting.
Last one. Sean, story number 5. Indonesia's president has found a fairly novel way to get people spending more money. Create a 5-day weekend. It's in a bid to boost travel and consumption.
Great idea, I reckon. President Joko Widodo declared June 28 and 30 as collective leave days. There's already a June 29 holiday. Basically, Indonesians will get a 5-day break. It applies to all civil servants, but that tends to lead private sector companies as well. It's not the first time Widodo has turned to uncommon tactics to drive consumer spending. Not long after the government lifted all virus curbs, he ordered local authorities to approve permits for concerts and sports events to get people going again. During the pandemic, he urged Indonesians to shop online. Now he's just going to give them a holiday so they'll spend more. I reckon it's a great idea.
I love it. All right. There we go, Sean. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Friday, the 23rd of June, 2023. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. If 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed, wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.